Welcome back to Rugby Wrap-Up's MLR Weekly. We have a great show this week with Co-President of Major League Rugby, Graeme Bradbury, John Fitzpatrick of Rugby Morning, and Pat Clifton of the College Rugby Show on the College Rugby Corner. Rugby Wrap-Up's MLR Weekly brought to you by Sheehy Auto Stores. It's easy at Sheehy. The Pig and Whistle, New York City, the world's best rugby pub. And Lean and Limber, stretching your way to a healthier lifestyle.
There is a massive responsibility on the 23 that are privileged enough to step out on that field today.
Let's get it all started with our recurring segment, Rugby Morning's Coffee Break, with John Fitzpatrick calling in from the greater Los Angeles area. John, it's so good to see you again. What do you have for us?
Yeah, Matt, I was out walking my dog, and I just passed Adam Fryer, and I know he was on last week.
That's right. You're darn tootin'. Adam Fryer, the CEO of the California Legion. If you haven't seen that episode, go back and have a look. Anywho, go ahead. Thanks for the plug.
Well, new news about the Legion. They announced the 5 different California cities that are going to host Legion matches this year. Matt, let's run through them real quick. San Diego, Irvine, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Sacramento. Matt, is this all going to work?
Well, all right. Well, I'll tell you, the alternative is no league because there's no California team. Because the reality, and you can check out last week's show as Fryer talked about, FIFA booked all the fields basically in California. So they could only get one date in San Diego. They could only get one date in Orange County. They could only get one date in LA. So they had to go to Northern California for the other 2 dates, and they could only get single dates there. So they had no option to play multiple games as per the schedule from the league, and they want to play at decent venues with grass that don't look like they are a multi-sport stadium. So a lot of hard work, and they got it done. And again, the alternative is no league. Can I say it again? No league. Go ahead.
I was talking to a feller who was wearing a San Diego Legion hat, and I went up to him and I asked him, hey, you still going to follow the Legion? And he gave me this passionate argument about no, he doesn't want to support the Legion anymore. He thought the ownership group did a terrible job, and he's not going to follow the Legion. I thought that was very strange, Matt.
Well,
why?
It's strange for somebody that's not following the Legion to wear a Legion hat, number one. Number two, I would say to him or her, that was a different group. Give this group a chance. And this is exactly what we need to keep professional rugby alive in the United States. We need people to support. Be a cohort again. You can be a cohort across 5 cities. You might not have to go to all the cities, but support the team. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's a new group. Give them a chance.
All right, let's move on from that. Now, I want to bring up happy trails, of course, to your good buddy, Chance Wengluski, an MLR fan favorite across 3 different franchises in Major League Rugby, but he officially announced his retirement from professional rugby. Now, Matt, he's an artist. Are you going to commission him for any artwork?
I would if I had a need for art and I could afford to commission an artist. But, you know, the beginning of the end of the franchise in Atlanta was when the new Coca-Cola group took over the running of the team and changed all of the branding, changed the team name, changed the team color to a green circle that looked like the Chicago Hounds had just put out. And they painted over a great mosaic that Chance Wengluski had painted and just painted over it. It was insane. And then they went to LA, and we all know the rest of the story. Chance Wengluski, by the way, would be a perfect color analyst for rugby. I've done games with him live. He is great. He's a personality, knows his stuff. And I'm surprised the team didn't give him a shot, because you'd think that the new philosophy, he would get right in that wheelhouse of developing American players.
Well, Matt, real quickly, I stopped drinking Coke when they took cocaine out of the formula.
They still have the formaldehyde in there.
That's why I'm a Dr. Pepper guy.
Oh, that's a much healthier choice. Anything else?
Yeah, moving on. Last bit of news here. I thought this was interesting. You may have seen this. Jamison Fanana-Schultz, who had signed a deal to play with the Free Jacks, is going to delay that just a little bit. He signed on for the remainder of this season for RC Narbonne. Did I pronounce that correctly,
Narbonne.
Matt? Narbonne.
Well, it's Narbonne or He's playing for the Narbonnais. Narbonnais. Steve Lewis is cringing someplace because he's a snide, very efficient French speaker. But that's good. So he's playing and getting some game time, and then he'll become in game ready for the Free Jacks. That's good stuff.
Yeah, that's in French's third division, the Narbonnais. Their season ends at the end of April, so perhaps he joins the Free Jacks in early May. But good for Jamison, found on Schultz. A few more men's Eagles, high-level MLR players plying their trade overseas.
Good stuff, good stuff. And spreading the word that the league is still afloat. On that note, John, we're out of time. I want to thank you, Mr. John Fitzpatrick of Rugby Morning. We'll be right back with co-president of Major League Rugby, Graeme Bradbury, after this.
Mercy me, that could have put him in Ward 4.
I hope not, Bill. That's a maternity ward.
Need a great price on a new vehicle? Sheehy makes it easy. Easy Price shows you our lowest prices on the Mid-Atlantic's largest selection. Find your best price online or at any of our 31 dealerships.
It's easy at Sheehy. Sheehy.com.
If you're in New York City and want to watch some great rugby, have some great food, and some great times, go to the world's best rugby pub, the Pig and Whistle on West 36th Street.
And we are back with Major League Rugby co-president Graeme Bradbury. Graeme, welcome to MLR Weekly.
Thank you for inviting me, Matt. Great to be here.
And Graeme, when you say here, you are jumping through hoops for us, leaping over obstacles to come on the show. You're in an airport right now, and you're making the extra effort to come on, which is greatly appreciated.
No problem at all. We've been trying to make this happen for a little while, Matt, and I wanted to come on and thank the fans and wish them Merry Christmas, etc., but also explain the changes and what we've been up to. So I'm glad to make the time.
You and Alex Magleby are co-presidents now in the new leadership look for the MLR amongst the sea of changes. Explain to me, because I've had a lot of concussions and I didn't have much brain power to begin with. What are your responsibilities and what are Mags's responsibilities?
Sure. So look, the owners went through quite a robust period of trying to find the best move forward when Nick decided he wanted to step backwards. We went through a number of interview processes and it was felt that a combination of Mags with his strategy, if anyone's ever been to a presentation of a game day in New England, they'll know how good that is, how much of a great atmosphere that is, how full the stadium is, and that's what we need to replicate elsewhere throughout our teams. And then me doing the nuts and bolts, making sure rugby is being played, making sure the officials at the best quality they possibly can do. Just all the things that are, like I say, the things behind the scenes that make sure that rugby is played, making sure the players get to the destinations they need to be and giving them the best environment to be the best players they can be. I also take charge of the finances of the league. So that
was going to be my next question.
Yeah, I'm in charge of the budget. I'm also in charge of relationships with USA Rugby, World Rugby, etc. Mags will be more of the face. So you won't see me that often, but I'm behind the scenes making sure that things work.
And Graeme, for folks that may not know this, you are a Welshman. And you come over with a lot of experience internationally. You're a tall man, you're a large man. You played in the pack. You also were with the Dragons.
Correct, yeah. I was part of the ownership group that took over the Dragons from the Union, which started all the way back before COVID, but got done in 2023. I was invited to be the interim CEO there as well. So I did that for around 12 months as it transitioned away from union ownership and into private ownership. So yeah, I have got a lot of rugby finance background. I've got a lot of institutional background when it comes to the teams. But that's also helped coming over because I can better understand what the teams are going through. And try and help them and lead them on that side. So, yeah, I've got quite a bit of understanding on that side.
And you've got quite a bit of understanding of not the smoothest of goings on with Welsh rugby, right? Rocky roads, you've navigated those, and now we've got some rocky roads that we're navigating over here. How would you compare them?
It's a really interesting question because rugby in Europe in particular is much more union dominated, whereas over here it's much more dominated by owners, and that was one of the attractions of MLR. If I'm being honest with you, that it's an owner owned league as opposed to multiple unions owning the league like it is in say the URC. So it gave us flexibility or gives us the flexibility to do additional things, which isn't possible in URC, and I'm looking forward to presenting some of those this season. I know watching your show, you've been analysing what changes could happen, and who knows, you may be right, you may be wrong. Let's wait and see on that side. But that's the main difference: the ability to actually do things, think about things. How can we improve things and actually be able to do it there and then and make decisions there and then, which normally would take months or years in other leagues. So that's the biggest difference.
Okay, so what do you say to those that might say, well, he was with the team last year, he was with the league last year, Mags has been with the league since the inception of the Free Jacks. Is this just more of the same? What's the change?
No, I think both Mags and I are in position because we presented change to the ownership group that was looking for change. So you will see substantial change in the way the product is presented on the pitch, but also with Mags and his team off the pitch as well. So yeah, it will be a lot of change and it will be noticeable. So I look forward to having this conversation after a couple of weeks in the season and getting your feedback on it.
Yeah, well. Listen, man, I'm just grateful the league's on its legs and it's going forward, because there were some dire times where we all thought that this was it, and fans that are complaining about the new philosophy of maybe promoting USA players first for the benefit of the national team is not a great idea, but there needed to be change, and what was going on wasn't working. So what's your philosophy on that?
Oh no, I think you're right. I think one of the things that really struck me last year watching the Champ Final, which was fantastic event in Rhode Island. Again, that was something, I was relatively new to the business, but that venue was chosen by me from the start. It was a fantastic final, but if you look at the squads that were on play at that time, the championship winning team, I believe, only had one Eagle eligible player on their team, which, as we reduced down to the 6 teams that we have now, I mean, if that was replicated across every team, clearly that wouldn't have been a good position for USA Rugby and the Eagle squad going into 2027. And obviously we got Anthem, but Anthem can only do so much, and there's other owners that wanted to put their shoulder to the wheel on that, and really support the US Eagles. So that's why that decision was made, and I fully support it.
You bring up the ownership thing with this league and its owners. It can be problematic, but for you, you've got less chefs in the kitchen.
I think the owners that we have now are really aligned, and it's also diverse talent amongst them. There's people who've got, they're all really successful people, but they're successful in lots of different areas of business,
right.
And they're all offering that support into the different areas of business where they have that success. So I think we've got a really good recipe for how we move forward, and owners are a lot more supportive and helpful than potentially it had been in the past, when there was, 11 teams, 22 governors, and it was quite difficult to actually get people to put their hands up. Whereas now it's a lot easier to get people to be very, very supportive and drive the business forwards.
The history of American sports and professional sports worldwide is littered with attrition, contraction, movement, teams leaving cities. It's all over, and it's an unfortunate thing. But we've all experienced, or many of us have experienced it here in the United States with MLR and Pro Rugby USA prior. But this, I'm the ultimate optimist, and I could be an idiot, but I think this could be, this tightening of the budget, the sheriff over the finances thing could be the turning point.
Agreed. And there's a lot of outreach to us recently as well, especially since myself and Mags have been made co-presidents. There's a lot of people reaching out interested in how does a team look in the future? Is there a potential for a new franchise? And I was at a new venue just last week, for example, which, it may happen, it may not. But I'm just really excited by the amount of incoming opportunities that we're getting. And yeah, look forward to chasing those down and see where we look in 27.
And it's a buyer's time right now. If you wanted to get in the MLR, this is the time to get in, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the other sports leagues in the US, I think we're really undervalued. And I think by the time we get to 2031, is the people who are in now and in the next year or so will find that they're their investment is really bearing fruit. So no, I think now is a great time to come on board, and certainly that's the conversations we're having.
Quick question: you mentioned the final last year. When are we going to announce the final for the upcoming season? Because that's been a problem throughout the history of the league, right? I mean, we didn't have the finishing touches on that stadium until like 2 or 3 months prior to being able to announce it. So that was problematic. And still, there was a great crowd. I was there. I was the PA announcer. I know who was in that stadium. I know how that vibe was. I know how loud it was. So the critics that are saying, oh, we only got 7,000, and they only got 7,000 because they only had 2 months prep. When can we expect an announcement on the final this year?
That's a great question, and look, you did a great job last year, so thank you. And also, it wasn't just the people in the stadium; it was the fan fest as well, and the people that went to the fan fest had a fantastic time, and that was fantastically well organised by the team. So, kudos to them. We are targeting to get the announcement out before the start of the season. We're already talking to a number of really interested venues. And we're making good progress there. I'd be disappointed if we didn't have something out.
It's not going to be like 3 weeks before the final, or
definitely not. No, I mean that causes us a lot of problems as well. So obviously we have to book hotels, we have to get everything arranged, and I think Fan Fest last year only happened because we had that extra availability and that extra time to do it. And I know what you're saying; it wasn't that much more time, but look at what we did with the time we had. So we're going to try and get out there as early as possible and put on a great show.
Is there one thing that you want to see change the most?
I think there's a lot of things that we need to get right moving forwards. I think the way we present the product to the live crowd has to be better and more understandable to the live crowd, especially somebody that's coming for the first time. I mean, rugby is a really complex sport, and for the average American who, this weekend I've been to ultimate bullfighting, I've been to an NHL game and an NFL game, so I can see what the audience expects.
Yeah.
And do they actually get that when they come to an MLR game? Not as often as we would want. So how we present the product has to be a lot better. Also on TV, how we present the product on TV has to be better. And I think Sunday Night Rugby is a really big step forward there. Having content going into the match, coming out of the match as well. I think that's going to be fantastic. And how we speak to people in the stadium and at home with regards to decisions, and what the referee is doing, and just how we look. We need to look like a rugby match taking place on a rugby pitch, and not have multiple lines where people have to guess which sport's being played.
If you were here right now, I'd kiss you.
It's a good job I'm not there, Matt.
Yeah, for both. I guess that's true for both of us. Yeah, that would. Yeah, let me take that back. I'm not taking that back. That's a figurative line. Anyway, all right. So you're preaching to the choir here. The lines on the fields, shooting the right direction, all that stuff, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, I'm optimistic, and I think you guys are you're on the right track, and I'm rooting for all of you to succeed, because that means I succeed. So there you have
Absolutely.
it.
And we want that as well, Matt, for sure.
Mr. Graeme Bradbury, co-president of Major League Rugby, thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it, Matt, and thank you to everybody. Look forward to seeing you all in 2026. Thank you.
Likewise. All right, we'll be right back with Pat Clifton of the College Rugby Show on the College Rugby Corner after this.
Digs like a demented mole there.
It is eating season. Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. At Health Enhanced Foods, we got 17 baking mixes to be able to help enhance your holiday meals. Whether you're gluten-free, you need ketogenic, whether you are low FODMAP, whatever your special dietary need is, we have a baking mix for you. Go to healthenhancedfoods.com. Go ahead and use coupon code RugbyOdds to be able to get 25% off your first order. Let's get this season going. And honestly, whatever Matt's about to say next, just ignore it. It's not even worth it.
You need your cleats? You need them tomorrow? If you order today by 3 p.m. New York time or noon LA time, they can have them to you tomorrow. Young, old, male, female, if you're playing on turf, if you're playing on grass, if you're playing in the rain, you're playing in the heat, they've got you covered. RugbyNow.com. Go there now. This is the Rugby Odds, where an unlikely pundit panel of a wordsmith, a WWE legend, a rugby star, and a supermodel scour the globe, seeking best bets and bad behavior. Are you not entertained?
Going in like a wildcat.
Behind the scenes. How we doing this morning? Here we go.
And we're back with Mr. Pat Clifton of the College Rugby Show on the College Rugby Corner. Pat, we just saw a glimpse, a tease of the tournament for which we were both at, the NCR, National Collegiate Rugby Men's 15s Championships. It was great.
It was fantastic, except for breaking down those damn, trifold signs.
But let's talk about it. Let's go. Let me unleash you, Pat.
Let's start men's Division 3. Franciscan Barons beating Slippery Rock 29-17. I mean, this is their first ever national championship, founded 25 years ago by, believe it or not, Jeremy Treese, the CEO of National Collegiate Rugby. Joe Bob Molesky led them as the star scrum half throughout the weekend. Some incredible kicking, really Connor Buckley-ish level skills at Division 3, and their 9-10 combo was just too much for everybody else. In men's Division 2, we had a really dominant performance by the Vermont Catamounts, beating the Chicago Maroons 71-5 in the final. Men's D1 AA was a match for the ages. Tennessee winning 21-15. Bowling Green was winning that game down in the end, 15-14. They seemed to be suffocating that thing. They 1 minute left in the game. They have a line out. If they complete the line out, you got to think those Falcon forwards who had been dominant would be able to just milk the clock. They missed the line out.
Yeah.
Tennessee crazily surpasses 2 kicking opportunities that would have given them a lead and still manages to crash over and score and win and at the death. And Bowling Green had a try that really probably would have won the game. It looked like it was a try, but coach's challenge, the TMO looked at it and overturned it. So a little bit of a controversial finish, but I think the call was right. And then in Division 1, it was an absolute blowout as St. Bonaventure just creamed Queens. They'd played twice this season earlier, 3-point game, 4-point game, each team getting a win. And Bonnie's just killed them with their kicking game, killed them with their suffocating defense, and was just the better side on the day.
A couple of players that caught my eye, Pat, and I wanted to see what you thought. You got the Buckingham brothers out of, what was it, UNC Wilmington, the Seahawks.
Yeah, the Buckingham brothers, both coaches' sons. Their dad is on the coaching staff and grew up there, local North Carolina products. They're big boys. It's not often you get...
What is it, 6'6" and 6'4", respectively, as a lock and a flanker.
Yeah, and the flanker, man, that kid he was running people over.
He was catching restarts.
All-American Hunko Hermeshes out there. He was fantastic, and I think that kid's got real next-level potential.
Absolutely, and I was also Cam
Kruzalak, Slippery Rock, the Rocks. Yeah, kid's an animal too. Another guy who I think could play back row potentially at the MLR level, especially as they skew a little bit more American. And if he decides to move to an MLR market, I think that he could definitely play some higher level ball. He's a stud too. Probably transitions to 6 or 7 at the next level. But
and what about a Philip Tracy of Bowling Green and a Matt Tevnin of Vermont?
Tracy, I think, translates to the next level super well. Maybe moves to the front row, which is not uncommon. You know, you'd be a badass in the back row at the college level or club level, and then when you try to go to a high performance, you end up moving into the front row. That's a tale as old as time. I think that would make a lot of sense for Phil Tracy, who did play a little bit of hooker this season. Matt Tebnin, he's a good player, got great skill, great head on him, and a great head of hair, too, with the mullet. But I think he probably is a little bit more of a project at the next level.
Well, I'm just going by kicking for posts in the wind.
Oh, the kid! I mean, look, that win was brutal too on Sunday, and he had a great game. Honestly, it was. I think it was Race who ended up winning the MVP award because he got 3 tries the wing. But at Tevnin, one of them was off a cross kick from Tevnin, which was gorgeous. So,
well, you know, the controversy that was of the biggest controversy of the tournament because of the wind was your drop goal contest. Clearly, Zach Lanning's Z-Hawks were kicking into the wind, so there was where was the rating system that ridiculous.
Well, look, here's what we did. We put 1 on each end because of that. We last second pivot. We had 1 play like from each team on each end, so both teams were kicking into the wind and with the.
All right. I was,
to be honest, really screwed up the scoring integrity. So who won that thing? I don't know, but I guarantee we'll do it again.
Wait a minute,
it'll be better next time.
You just made the justification, and then you just threw it all into the bus yourself.
Well, we tried to make it even, but that made it almost impossible to score the game. So I'm certain the final score we had was wrong.
Okay, fair enough. So what's next on the NCR landscape and the college?
Well, everyone's going to go and get their lumps of coal or their toys from Santa, and then it's All-Stars, baby. So in January, we've got men's All-Stars, women's All-Stars. Women's All-Stars is pretty cool because it's always been 7s, but now there's a 15s component. So the top 100 players in the country theoretically are playing in 15s, 4 teams against each other, and that's going to be a good addition this year.
All right. Well, Pat, we're out of time, but we'll come back with previews of those All-Star games, respectively, in divisions and all that good stuff. But in the meantime, we're out of time. So I want to thank Mr. Pat Clifton of the College Rugby Corner, John Fitzpatrick of Rugby Morning, and Graeme Bradbury, the co-president of Major League Rugby. And thank you for tuning in. Make sure you check out the Rugby Odds. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Sign up for our weekly newsletter, and please join our American Red Cross blood donor team.